And we are back on this episode of The Rodriguez Show. I'm Cesar Rodriguez, and of course, we got Mondo in the house. How you feeling, Mondo?
Good, man. Good. How are you?
Good.
Chilling.
And we have our special guest here for the episode. She's born and raised in LA. Her Bittersweet EP just dropped. It's great, and she's performing April 8th at the Paramount LA. Give it up for Danie. Hey, how are you?
Woohoo! I'm good. How are you?
Good, yeah. Thanks for making the drive out here from LA.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So Bittersweet, the EP just came out. The collection is 6 songs. They're really great. They tripped me out. I was having a great time listening to them.
Tight.
How does it feel now that it's been out for a while? I know it dropped a minute ago, right?
Yeah, it came out in December. It feels awesome. Pandemic, it's kind of like, it's exactly my pandemic baby that I've been working on the entire pandemic. A little bit before the pandemic hit as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it feels really good. It tripped me out too because I kind of almost forgot what it felt like to release music because I hadn't dropped an EP or anything probably since like right before the pandemic, to be honest. Yeah. So the pandemic is technically not over, right? So we're like about to push, I don't know, it's been like 2 years. I don't even know. The concept of time now is just so odd and crazy. Yeah. But it feels like relieving. It feels so good. I'd like almost forgot what it felt like. Yeah. So yeah, it feels great. That's
awesome. So one of the steps from releasing the EP was the release party that you had not too long ago. It was the beginning of this month, right?
Yeah.
So how did that go? How did that feel?
It was awesome. It was again very trippy. I didn't know what to expect. I guess I kind of figured my homies would be there. I just didn't realize it was at Highland Park Bowl, and I think the room is called Mr. T's room. It was packed and it was awesome, and it got to the point where I like to huddle up with my guys like before we go on stage and just wanted to thank them. And the majority of the players I had that night had also played on the record, so I just wanted to like thank them again and just got all sentimental for a second and, gave them all hugs and whatever. And but we went out into the lobby to do that because it was just like too loud and crazy in the actual performance room. But when we were doing that, we're like, all right, let's go. So we're going to walk back into the room. And one of the security guards stopped us and was like, oh, no, you guys have to wait. We're at capacity. You have to wait for people to leave. And I was like, we're about to go on.
I can't. I need to go on stage.
We got to go in there now. So she was just like, oh, you're chill. And then let us in. And I was like, yeah.
Better recognize.
And once performing there, I'm pretty sure, as far as you mentioning, like the whole pandemic thing, you having that release party and really going out there and performing again after, I don't know if you had done it, so often before, but like you're saying, it's your baby. You must have felt really cool.
Oh my God, yeah. Seriously, I remember my last show pre-pandemic. It was on Valentine's Day of what, 2019? So it was Valentine's Day, and then everything shut down in March or whatever. So that was my last show, full band. Because that's usually how I like to play, is with a full band. But yeah, it was super cool getting to perform the songs live and sing them live in front of people and just see their reactions and feel the love. And there was a lot of like love. I was like overwhelmed. I like almost cried, but my good friend Selena did my makeup that night, and I was like, I can't ruin it. I can't mess this up. She worked too hard on this. I can't. But no, it was super sentimental, and I'm for sure gonna remember that release show for the rest of my life.
You're performing next in a couple weeks, April 8th at the Paramount LA with Weapons of Mass Creation, Raquel Rodriguez, like I said. But how did you know Weapons of Mass Creation? They're friends from Anaheim.
I met them. I think I had seen social media posts of them through other people, but I had the pleasure of sharing the bill with them back in my Welfare days of going by Welfare as a stage name, as a project name. We got booked on the same bill in Orange County. I forgot what venue it was, but that was my first time meeting them and seeing them do their thing and stuff. And super, super silly, cool. Yeah, they're just super tight. I love them, and their music's awesome, and they're just really dope people. And yeah, now we get to play together again.
That's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So take us back to the beginning. How did you even start making music?
Well, I started off as a dancer when I was a kid. The condensed version, and I was just painfully shy, to be honest. And I always liked expressing myself artistically. So, I would have like private concerts in my own head and things like that, but I was just so shy. I never really got into it, fully immersed myself. And then I fell in love with dance first because I didn't have to talk, and I loved that, but I could still express myself and perform, so I did that for a while, for about 12 years, and then when I hit like 18, 19, I got asked to sing in a band called Thickest Thieves in LA based, I guess, Silver Lake. And they were all pretty much related, and they basically asked me to sing co-lead in it. And that was, I'm still obsessed with Amy Winehouse, but that's like when I was really obsessed with Amy Winehouse. Yeah. So they had asked me to sing, to cover Valerie, her cover. Yeah. And that was like my thing. So eventually when we started playing shows and kept playing shows, everybody would be like, sing Valerie. And to this day, I'm like, oh my God, I'm kind of sick of that song a little bit. Yeah. It's a great song though.
Yeah, it makes sense. You're performing it all the time. It was your thing.
It's a great song though. But it was super fun. And then I guess that kind of opened up the door, and I just started wondering what I would sound like if I made music of my own. Yeah. And then that's when Welfare's first EP happened. I wasn't into production then. I had a producer at the time who helped me out. And and then after that, it's just, I released 3 EPs under the name Welfare, and it was kind of like not set members. But I was the driving force behind the project, and it was strictly like an R&B funk soul R&B fusion project. And honestly, I feel like through that process, I became more immersed and aware of, I guess, my ear for production and things like that. And became less and less afraid to, I guess, like pursue that in a sense. So I first started using Pro Tools, getting, I guess, the basics down, and then now I moved on to Ableton. But I guess it's been crazy. It was for a while. I was going as Welfare for like 9 years. And then it was funny. I was starting to entertain the idea of changing my name to just go as Danie. Probably like a solid year before the pandemic. It was kind of already a thing that I was kind of planning on doing, but wasn't really sure how I was going to go about it. But I definitely was way more sure about how I wanted to go about it at the same time. One thing in particular is to come out swinging right off the bat. Don't stick to one thing. I feel like Welfare was very much, everybody was certain that it was a hip hop, R&B, like funk sound sonically. And it was, but it just made me realize, it just made it a little bit more difficult to kind of maneuver out of that, because I have a very eclectic music taste and blah, blah, blah. So when I got to, basically fast forward to the pandemic happening, it scared the shit out of me, like it did with everyone. And after having a panic attack and whatever, I was like, okay, I think this is the time to like cocoon it up and figure out how I'm gonna do the rollout of this, and figured out how I wanted to do it, because I had nothing but time. And and then I started gearing up for the first single and how I wanted to go about rolling that out, etc.
That's awesome. So it's like a long musical journey to get to the exact place where you yourself could express yourself at the maximum capacity. So some of the influences I hear that you mentioned in the interview that I read was the Doors, and you can really hear that on Ginger Pond. I really like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Steely Dan, Erykah Badu, like so what was it about these people that attracted you to their styles?
Oh my gosh, everything. Everything. I mean, I feel like it started off with, I wrote No Looking Away, which is a track on the record, on an Instagram live That was kind of in the beginning of the pandemic where everyone and their mothers were going live.
Yeah.
And I would every now and then post me doing something production wise, and then I started getting a lot of messages like, what, like you make your music or you produce or whatever, and I was like, whoa, I have not been clear about this. Like, what, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, yes. So then I decided to like post on my story, this is how I make a song, right?
Yeah.
And so my story ended up getting really long, so I was just like, I'm gonna go live. So I went live and finished it essentially, and it's a really simple song, you know.
Yeah.
It's nothing crazy, but it ended up being a cute ass song. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna release it as a single. And I also became a little detached because it's like, well, people already heard it, whoever was on the live.
Yeah.
So in a sense, I felt like a
surprising
little bit
anybody.
of detachment,
Yeah.
where usually I'm very much like, is it done? Is it really done?
Is
Do
it
I even
ready?
want to release it anymore?
Yeah.
By the time it gets mixed and all that. But yeah, so I feel like branching off of that, I did want something kind of sonically in the realm of that, but not limited to, of course. So I also, you know, worked on I Don't Know Why with my dad, and it's also like bilingual and definitely has that romantico style on it. And I also wanted to just figure out how to sonically take everyone on a journey through, you know, that whole sound, but still leaving the door open for interpretation. And
Yeah, because it's super like experimental and super like different styles you're exploring but still it sounds like uniform.
cohesive in a way. Yeah, and that's still what I wanted to do, exactly.
Yeah.
Like both, even though they're not, it doesn't make sense when you say it out loud, kind of, but I think sonically it does to me.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted my record to sound like. So I just kind of stuck kind of in that process, but at the same way, it also is what naturally came out too. That's like where I was at. I was listening to a lot of Doors. I always listened to a bunch of Erykah Badu. I stay listening to Amy Winehouse. So it's like things that were coming out, it was just like, you know what? I want a Doors moment. I'm gonna have a Doors moment. I want an Erykah Badu moment. I'm gonna have an Erykah Badu moment. You know, instead of being like, no, it might not work out. What if it doesn't hit people the way I want it to, or what if it just doesn't resonate right? And I, in a sense, made this record for me, basically. So
Nice.
It all
kind of
connects
stuck
to you.
to that.
Yeah.
It all
Yeah,
connects to you
exactly.
At the end of it. That's cool.
Thank you.
Was there any hardships in the making of it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Without getting too into it, I experienced loss in my family, so that was definitely a topic that I guess kind of vent about, especially in All Right. But you know, I think art is always open to interpretation. I kind of don't necessarily like saying what the song was written about, because then I feel like it kind of taints people's interpretation. They're like, oh yeah, but that song's about this, or did you know it was about that? And I love hearing everyone's interpretation of what they think it's about, or how it hits them, or how, you know, whatever. But yeah, no, tons. Oh my gosh, tons. And not to mention, I mean, a lot of internal stuff, a lot of, you know, letting go of fear, a lot of, it's just really just starting over, really, as Danie.
And you even mentioned in the article I was reading that there was like, even the world, it was like not even the right time in the world to release certain things. Like you wanted to release something on Father's Day, but then what was going on in the world, it wasn't a right time to be like, it was, you know, with all the protesting happening in June of 2020, you know. It was
Yeah. My birthday fell on Father's Day that year, and I was like super stoked. I was like, oh my gosh, I recorded this song with my dad, talking about I Don't Know Why, and I just thought this is gonna be perfect. I already know when I'm gonna drop it, blah blah blah, and obviously there was a huge movement happening, and I just had no problem waiting, honestly. And it was just, you know, how tone deaf would I have been?
Exactly.
Releasing a song, it was still special to me, but it was just not the time. So I waited probably almost an entire year later, and then finally decided to drop it. And in that process, ended up having the idea to do the docuseries and the rollout and all that kind of stuff to kind of keep myself busy.
That's awesome. Well, they can check out the docuseries of you creating that on your YouTube, and we'll post a link to that in the description of the episode.
Oh, cool.
So where else do you hope to take your creative journey? Is music going to be the one outlet you want to focus on, or do you want to do other fashion or anything else moving forward?
I'm open to it. I do love fashion.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like music for sure. I mean, I'm still dancing casually on the side, just like for fun. I still take class and things like that. It's still an outlet for sure. But yeah, primarily focused on just really continuing to dive as deep as I can into my artistry and seeing, you know, what I can create out of, I mean, most of the time, difficult experiences in my life.
Yeah.
That's usually when I write songs, unfortunately. Very rarely I'll write one because I'm so stoked about something.
Yeah.
But I'm working on that.
Do you feel like there needs to be a little bit of pain to create art?
I do, honestly.
Yeah.
I do. I think some of the best work comes from pain because you really just have nowhere else to pull it from. And I think it's beautiful to be able to create something in a way that ends up being positive and helps heal other people, you know, even if they didn't even know what the song was about. But again, that interpretation thing where it hits them in a certain way that, you know, affects them individually in their life. And I think that's super cool. And that's low-key why I'm addicted to making music and want to do music in general, is because I really do believe that music is healing.
Well, I can't think of a better place to end that. That was beautiful. That was perfect. We're gonna have you perform one of the tracks from Bittersweet, the EP. But I want to do this segment called 60 Seconds With. This is the speed round of questions. Okay. Are you ready for this?
No, but let's go.
All right. 60 seconds with Danie on The Rodriguez Show. Let's start the timer now. So, favorite cartoon character?
Ooh, SpongeBob.
Favorite song right now?
Centerfold by, oh my god, I can't remember. But Centerfold.
Yeah. One word to describe you when you were a kid?
Quiet.
Do you have a hidden talent?
I do.
It's gonna stay hidden.
I do have to say it. It's gonna stay hidden.
Okay. Indica, sativa, or hybrid?
Oh man, I don't really smoke, but I used to fuck with sativas a lot.
Netflix, Hulu, or HBO?
HBO?
Name of your best friend in high school?
Terry.
First CD you ever bought?
I think it was Gorillaz. I think it was Demon Days.
Oh, nice. First song you illegally downloaded?
Oh man, I don't remember. Probably Britney Spears or something.
Favorite movie?
Aristocats.
Early 2000s hip hop or early 2010s hip hop?
Early 2000s.
Rap and Drake or R&B Drake?
R&B?
All right. Sports car or classic car?
Classic car.
Now, 60 Seconds with Danie on The Rodriguez Show. You can see her April 8th at the Paramount in LA. Tickets for that at ParamountLA.com. Performing her new single, Stay Away. Give it up for Danie!
You're so attitude, it really irks my mood, and I remember it's what I always know. I hate to break the news. Me tiendo en mi mente cuando estoy contigo, giving the power of owning my thoughts away. You can't own up, so keep your mouth shut, baby. I think I've had it now. You're just a pretty face, not a thing to say. I'm glad you stay away. Yeah, you're hypnotized by your ego side. I can see through the lies, eyes. Now you can't tell me anything. So just leave it, don't sing. Metiendo en mi mente cuando estoy con otra gente. Not giving the power of owning my thoughts away. You can't own up, so keep your mouth shut, baby. make a fat no. You're just a pretty phrase. Not a thing to say. We'll just stay away.
Danie on The Rodriguez Show. Kids are loving it. The audience is loving it. Thank you so much. That was fire.
Thank you.
Get tickets at ParamountLA.com.